Hey everyone, I'm Brian Botkiller, and in today's episode of Being a Successful Musician, I'm going to pose the question, what do artists owe their fans, and what do fans owe artists? So I was on Facebook today, and I saw this article, Famous Nine Inch Nails fan demands concert refund, my night is ruined. Okay, I'm like, wow, who is this? Like, who has such a beef with Trent Reznor that they would go out and say this? You know, is it some famous musician or movie star, etc.? All right, let me see what's up with this. So I clicked through and immediately launches into it. SSSniperwolf complained about Nine Inch Nails tour kickoff in Phoenix on Thursday night, demanding a refund after the band did not play Closer. She is a famous video game YouTuber who has 11.1 million YouTube followers, blah, 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 lots of followers across all these networks, right? Yay. Congratulations. She wrote in her Instagram story, what the fuck, they didn't play Closer, and copy of is a Nine Inch Nails song. And copy of let's say copy of what the fuck, I want a refund. This is just one of those things where it's just a big string of text. Yay. Punctuation is for suckers. She tweeted, I went to a Nine Inch Nails concert. They didn't play their most popular song, Closer. What, they didn't even play copy of My night is ruined. This was so disappointing. How the fuck do they not play that like everyone waited at the end like it was a joke, lol. Okay. So let's just unpack this real quick. First of all, I don't know who SSSniperwolf is. I'm sorry. I'm not that cool. I don't really pay attention to most really popular gamers and etc. She's got a lot of followers, and that's awesome. Congratulations. She's doing her thing. I'm not here to go after her for her positions on anything, really, although it is inspiring me to make this vlog. But I'm not here to say that she's wrong or anything else. She's totally entitled to feel the way that she feels, especially as someone who paid money for a show, probably had it in her head, this is what's going to happen, and etc., and all this other kind of stuff. Okay, that's fine. Like I say, I hadn't heard of her until now. Now I have. Congratulations, she's internet famous. That's great. Does that mean that she gets to demand a refund from Nine Inch Nails for not playing a song? No, it doesn't. Let's just put that out there real quickly. If you have 11.1 million YouTube followers, I'm fairly certain you can afford the ticket cost and get over it and eat the cost. If we're talking about a whole, you know, it's the principle of the thing here or something, no, sorry, not the way it works. That's just not the way it works. You don't go to see Weezer, and if they don't play the Sweater song, you riot, okay? Like, this is life, man. You don't go to see Blue Oyster Cult, and if they don't play Don't Fear the Reaper, you riot, okay? That's not the way things work. Artists don't owe you things, okay? So let's just put that out there immediately here. Artists don't owe fans stuff. Like, they don't. I'm just being real here. They really don't. It doesn't matter how famous someone is as a musician, an artist, or anything else. They do not owe their fans kind of really anything except to be artists and to be musicians or whatever that may be. Whatever got someone into their work initially, you know, or whatever, not even to make the same work. Just being an artist, that's really the only thing that is owed when you break it right down. Now, there's some deeper stuff here. I'll get into it in just a second. But let's just roll back real quickly, right? Closer is definitely the most famous Nine Inch Nails song that you could ever think of. Unless you were living on the moon, in a cave, under a rock, with your eyes closed, and your fingers in your ears, humming to yourself through all of the 90s, basically, just about all of the 90s. And then going, into the 2000s and up until now, unless you were doing that, you know this song. You've heard this song like a bajillion and a half times. It's an industrial pop song, and it's barely even an industrial song. When you break it right down, it's a pop song. It's a slow, grindy, weird, dark pop song, but like it's a pop song, if we're being real. So Yeah, it's in everybody's brains and everyone has heard it and all this other kind of stuff. Does that mean that like you have to hear it live because it's gonna be different or something else? Nah, not really, not necessarily, right? Like, I love that experience. I love it when I hear a song that I really like from an artist live, but I will say that like I don't expect an artist to play their really popular music anytime that I go to see them. And so do I think that it's right to expect Nine Inch Nails to play Closer? Which is, yeah, it's their most popular song if you break it right down. It's Trent's most popular song. It's the one that got him very popular and all those other kinds of things in the long run. Is it right to get upset if he doesn't play it? Not really, when you really come right down to it, because he's heard the song a bajillion and a half times. He knows the song. He may not really like the song anymore, and if he doesn't, honestly, that's perfectly fine. He's played it a bajillion times. He doesn't have to play it. Add to this, the fact that kind of the whole purpose of this tour that's currently happening right now that Nine Inch Nails is doing is that they're playing the entire Broken album in its entirety, which is like basically never happened, and they're playing it live. So in respect to that, that's something that the artist is giving to the fans, I think, right? And because a lot of people probably always wanted to hear this album live and never did, and now they're getting the chance to hear it. And so there is that trade-off that's happening right there. But that's like the whole premise of this tour. So, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. If you were upset that that song didn't get played, maybe you should understand the fact that Nine Inch Nails just played the entirety of a record that was released a long time ago that is definitely a great record, and played it live for like the first time ever. Maybe you should just accept that and figure that that was kind of enough for you. But for some people, that's not enough. Okay, that's fine. But just to round this thing up, no, the artist doesn't owe the fan anything. Now, here's where this gets a little hairy, right? The expectation is that the artist owes the fan something because the fan gave the artist money. I go to, get something from someone and I give them money, and then I expect something back most of the time, unless it's charity or whatever else. I give someone money and I expect something back. Now, this whole thing is very weird, and I've kind of touched on it in times past right here, which is like, just because you create something, does that mean you should get paid for it? Does that mean you should make money for it? Should you get recognition? Should you get attention? And all these other kinds of things as an artist? Not necessarily. That's where we talk about the fan part of things. What do fans owe artists? Not a whole lot. When you have an exchange of goods in some way or another, yes, there's always an expectation that something is going to happen. But we can't really say that somewhere in the middle there is always going to be all the stuff that both sides like, right? Just because a fan gives a band or an artist some money does not necessarily mean that the artist has to give that fan exactly the thing that they are expecting, if we're talking about a live show or something along those lines. If the fan gives an artist money for, let's say, a Kickstarter campaign, and that Kickstarter campaign doesn't come to fruition, or when it does, the thing that was promised in it is not there, yeah, at that point, yeah, the artist does owe the fan something. So this has levels to it, right? When we're talking about live shows and things that are relatively unscripted and etc., no, the artist doesn't owe the fan anything. Even if the fan did come and pay money for that show and etc., what they do owe the fan is to show up and to play. If they don't do that, then that kind of sucks. But, beyond that, to show up, to play music, that's what they do. You're there for that band and what it is that they do, not necessarily for one song. If you're only there for one song, stay home, listen to that one song on repeat in the comfort of your home, and that's it. Just do that. But if you're expecting that when you go to see an artist play live or do something live, that they should always do the thing that you have decided in your head is the thing that signifies what they are, that personifies what they are, if you're expecting that, you're going into things the wrong way. That's just the bottom line. I've seen a lot of bands play a lot of times and not play the song that I know that they're well known for. And let's face it, the reason that bands are well known for certain things is all entirely because of media and how it is that we consume it when you break it right down. If you listened to an album without having been introduced to that album through most of the channels most of us are, which is the things that are popular through pop culture and things like that. You know, there's a song that gets you into an artist. You listen to that song a lot, then you get their album, whatever it may be. You listen to the album, and then you start to kind of create this overall world of this is what I like about this album, this artist, and things like that. You know, if you did not do that, right? If you just picked up an album cold and listen to that, you would form a different mindset about what it is that makes that artist great to you. And that is just the bottom line. I know this because I've done this. I have gone to record stores back when that was a thing that we all used to do, and I still do that. I've gone to record stores, picked up a record without listening to it, bought that record, in some cases based solely on the album art of that record, bought that, gone home, listened to it, never heard that artist before, and then started to form from there my feeling of what it was that kind of stood out about this artist, like what were my key favorite things and etc., right? And that's something that we all do no matter what, generally speaking, with media and with art in general. We form this sort of sphere around it of this is what we know and what we love about this thing and whatever it may be. But that thing is definitely shaped by other people, by other influences, by other media formats, and etc. It all gets shaped, especially even more now than ever when music marketing is super highly targeted and really aimed in specific directions, and all this kind of stuff that gets in the super deep music business part of things. That's just a fact, right? You change your perspective of an artist and of their work very much based on the marketing at this point, not necessarily based on the art. So this gets pretty deep, right? Because there are probably a lot of people out there who kind of like me are like, I don't know, man, Closer is an okay song. It's really not that great. I don't care if I don't hear it live. I've heard it a gazillion times. I don't need to hear it live. What I do want to hear live is some song off of this record that was obscure, or something off this single or whatever else. That's the stuff that I'm hoping for, right? But that's because my sphere of what it is that I love about this artist or album or whatever is different from everybody else's. You know, we all see the world in a different way. And that applies even to art and popular art. So I know I'm getting super deep here about this whole thing, but the simple fact is that everyone has a different perspective on these things, including the artist and the concert goer, the fan, etc. Everyone has a different position, a different feeling about these things, and everyone's going to see it differently. So, while no, it is not necessarily the artist's job to play the exact song that the concert goer wants, it is the job of the artist to be an artist and to do what it is that they know that they're good at. If they got up on that stage and they played only a bunch of songs that were popular, I don't think they would be really doing their job as artists. When you really break it right down. If you just get up and you just play the songs that everybody knows instead of the music that you love and the stuff that really gives you energy for being a musician, I mean, I don't really see the point. Money obviously will be the driving factor there, but I don't really see the point. So if the fan cannot just accept that an artist is there to make art in some way or another, then I don't really know that that's necessarily being a fan of someone's work. It means that you're a fan of specific parts of their work. You're not really a fan of what it is that they do. Okay, I mean, and that's all right if that's the case. But don't go to a concert and expect that an artist is going to play a song that you think they should play, even though it's kind of really likely that they're pretty tired of that damn song. So, along with this, right, like, what does a fan owe an artist? And this whole thing gets interesting here, again, because we're talking about typically the exchange of money. We all feel pretty much exclusively, I think, right, that because we make a piece of art and we put it out in the world, that we deserve some kind of compensation for that. If people enjoy it, if they like it, they listen to it and interact with it, and etc. And I'm here to tell you that no, that's not really the case. And I'm sorry. I hate saying that too. It gives you this little kind of stab in the heart. It sort of deflates you. And it's kind of sobering when you start to think of it this way. But like, someone does not necessarily owe you anything as an artist just because you put something out into the world. You know, that's the expectation that, well, I made this thing and I put it on Bandcamp, so like people should just buy it. But why should people buy it is the question you need to be asking yourself. You know, like, why? Is it because it's good music and it just deserves to be heard? Is it because it takes a stance on something? Is it because it's creative? Is it because of, you know, insert all these reasons here? You could have one of those reasons. You could have a bajillion of those reasons, whatever it may be. Are those reasons enough that you deserve to get money for what it is that you created? Not necessarily. When I do think you deserve to get some money, some compensation for the thing that you create is when someone takes an interest in it, enjoys it, and has that impetus then to support what it is that you're doing, because of the basic understanding that if someone does not have some kind of compensation, they probably can't continue on doing something. You know, if a musician has more compensation for their work, they are more likely to continue making more work rather than making something and then waiting a really long time before doing something else again, because in between there they had to work shit jobs and everything else. So, you know, it's not necessarily true that someone who is a fan of anyone's work owes that person anything. I think they do owe that artist something when they start to take an interest enough in it that they want to see more of it happening. But if they're just kind of passively consuming, which, let's face it, people basically do at this point now, you know, they turn on Spotify and that's it. And they don't really buy a lot of music off of Spotify. But if they're just kind of passively consuming, we can't necessarily say that just because they passively heard our song through Spotify or through another streaming network that they owe us money. You owe something to your fans. They kind of owe something to you. But where it should all meet is right in the middle with mutual respect, right? That's the bottom line. If you put something out there and you just automatically expect that people should just be paying you money for it, you're wrong. And if you put something out there and people start consuming it and just say, I have no reason to give this person any money or attention or anything else. They made it for me. They are at my beck and call. Whatever, man. I'm here to take. You're wrong there as well. Okay? Like, that is wrong as well. If you're getting everything for free all the time and etc., congratulations. Good for you. Maybe at some point or another you should consider paying for some specific things if you're a fan. And if you're an artist and you're getting a really great fan base that takes an interest in your work and etc., yeah, you probably need to listen to them a little bit, pay attention to what they want, and things like that. I've been at shows where that has happened, where I was on forums for those groups before. This happened to me with Underworld in 2007, I think. I was on an Underworld fan forum and I was saying, I just want to hear Dirty Epic live. I want to hear it live. It barely ever gets played live. I really want to hear it. And then I went to see Underworld a few days later, and lo and behold, they opened with that song. I found out later on from their manager that they had seen that post on their forum from me and said, yeah, what the hell, we'll play it. And I was like, wow, holy shit. I mean, that really hit me. It was a big deal because Underworld is very important to me. Their music is very important. They as people are very important to me. I love their work. I'm sort of peripherally connected to them through my music and things that I have done and stuff like that. But they are always up here for me. They're so important. And so when I heard this, I just was like, wow, okay. You know, and I think that to me was really that middle zone coming together in the best of ways. You know, it was that mutual respect between artist and fan, and in between, everything kind of came together in the best of ways. I have given money to Underworld. I've given Underworld a lot of money for shows and for merch and music and all these other kinds of things. And Underworld did their job. They showed up. They played the song that I wanted to hear. It may not necessarily be the song that a lot of other people wanted to hear, but there was something there that really was a wow moment that I thought was a really big deal. Can that always happen? Not necessarily, because, it is, again, it's up to the artist. Like, do they want to play that same song, and should they have to? No. So that's basically it. And I would love to hear everyone's input on this. I would really like to hear from artists, how you feel about this. And I would really like to hear from fans how you feel about this. Again, I don't want this to be a situation where we're talking about one person's point of view. This popular YouTuber's point of view is completely her own point of view, and that's fine. She's completely in her right to feel that way in some way or another, to have her expectations. She's not in the right to expect that she gets a refund just because a song wasn't played. There was nothing on the tour marketing that said that song was going to get played. Like, if the tour marketing said, playing closer, no matter what, 9 Inch Nails, yeah. If they didn't play it, sure, be upset about it. but otherwise, that's not the way things work. But I really do want to hear what everyone thinks about this. So, please feel free to hit me up in the comments or find me on social media and etc. And let's talk about it. I'm interested in hearing, what people's takes are on this whole thing. And, in the meantime, as always, if you're an artist, do what you can for your fans. And if you're a fan, do what you can for your artists. And let's all just meet somewhere in the middle point, in the middle zone, and be good to each other, because we're all trying to make it one way or the other. So there you have it, everyone. I'm Brian Botkiller. This is Being a Successful Musician. I'll see you next time, and take care.